Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to parts 2 of answering a bunch of your guys' questions from my almost 1-year-old AMA post on my YouTube community tab here. I'm going to answer as many of your guys' questions as I can now in the second part of this. In the first part, I answered a bunch of questions and also enjoyed a bunch of snacks from Tokyo Treat. Today, parts 2 is going to be sponsored by Sakuraco. So as we saw with Tokyo Treat, that's the Japanese snack monthly subscription box if you want the latest like exclusive, limited edition, seasonal Japanese snacks. The theme for this coming month's box is the Summer Matsuri, so we had stuff like soda flavored candy, lemon flavored stuff, yakisoba noodles and snacks, and all sorts of good stuff. Sakuraco, on the other hand, is a little bit different in that with this you get a monthly Japanese snack subscription box that is more focused on traditional and authentic, sort of artisan Japanese snacks, so you always get some Japanese tea in the box and also a piece of Japanese tableware, which this month looks really nice, I gotta say. Sakuraco partners with local Japanese snack makers and businesses to continue to share Japanese culture and traditions that have been passed down through the years. So the really cool thing about the company is just that they share Japanese culture with the world through the medium of snacks and things which everybody loves. So if you prefer more of like the Japanese pop culture things, you can try out Tokyo Treat. If you prefer more traditional Japanese stuff, you maybe want to try Sakuraco. But honestly, they're both awesome. So let's go ahead and crack open the box. So I'll just go through everything in the box here and then we'll get to some of your guys' questions. Alright guys, so once again, the box this month is very nice. It's in different colors, and that is because I guess this is in collaboration with the Yokohama Shinkin Bank and the Kanagawa Prefectural Government, so that's kind of cool. They have this collaboration box. So last month it was tan with gold. This month it's in this very nice blue with the gold on there. It looks fantastic. Go ahead and open it up. Inside here, once again, the very nice greeting. Nice to meet you. Let's have tea. And the very nice booklet, which we'll take a look through that here just a second, and the art card. You guys remember last month's card had this really nice image of like a crane. It was for Hokkaido. This one for Yokohama being like a coastal city. This one makes a lot of sense. We have the same message here on the back, which is a very nice kind of letter there from Ayumi Chikamoto there. So really like this. This is really cool. Here we have our booklet for the month, Tea Time in Yokohama, Snack Guide Volume 17 for July 2022. Beautiful photograph there on the front. On the back side, some extra goodies there. So we'll start from the front where we have an overview of everything that's included in this set and an introduction to summer greetings and Sakuraco family over here. Interesting that Yokohama is Japan's second largest city, this says. I thought it was Osaka and then like either Sapporo or Nagoya and then maybe Yokohama after that. I would have put Yokohama as maybe like 5th, but second largest is pretty interesting. It's a cultural and economic hub offering an exciting mix of East and West. Yes, indeed, definitely. I think I've been to Yokohama once briefly. Here we have a really cool photograph from 1960 there in Yokohama with a couple of kimono ladies there at the bottom. So pretty cool. Some history of Yokohama over here. Again, some nice photographs and artwork there. Some background here about the hamasusa, the classic cake, and preservatives. So a little bit about the development of this cake. I cannot wait to try this orange cake, which is in this box. Takara Confectionery, from necessity to local treat. You got some biscuits over here. Then we're getting into the information about the contents of the box here. So here we have our hojicha. It's fragrant hojicha, which is our tea included for this month. And then our plate that we have included, our dishware we have is this really nice looking small dish. So I can't wait to check that out. We got some pear jelly. All this stuff we'll see once we start taking a look through the contents. But again, really great information in here. It also tells you allergens, if it's vegetarian friendly, and may contain different things. So like this one, for example, may contain peanuts. So if you have a peanut allergy, for example, obviously some things you might want to avoid. So very good information to have if you have food allergies or have like specific dietary needs. Spotlight City, Yokohama. Here's some more about Yokohama. All the rest of our snacks and things we have included in this set. Yoshoku in Yokohama. Napolitan, spaghetti, ice cream, bread, all good things, and of course the photo contest. So if you guys get the box and share your photos on social media, then you can enter to win some of these prizes. It looks like some very nice plate and kind of hanging towels there that you can get. So some beautiful looking stuff. Let's go ahead and dive into the contents here. Looks like some peanut flavored snacks, which I love. Really good snacks and breads and stuff included with this. Some chocolate bread. Chocoretto pan, as I haven't had breakfast today and it's morning time, so that'll make for a good breakfast. Here's the jelly, so I'll have to go grab a spoon for that, and I think I can use the included bowl for that, which is I guess here in this cardboard container for safety, which I think it looks like it's a actual ceramic one this time. Last month it was like a plastic lacquerware dish. This one is actually ceramic. Here's the bottom side and then the top. Yeah, this is really nice. I mean, it's small, it's not very big. Just measuring that, it looks like it's about 10 centimeters across. So not like a huge bowl, not like you can eat ramen out of this or something like that. But for like a sauce bowl or something like that, or for jelly, which is what I'll use it for today, this will make a really nice bowl for that. So very impressed with that, that's cool. Here is that grape jelly, again, some beautiful packaging there on that. All of our smaller snacks, the orange cake, which like I said, I'm very much looking forward to that one. Here is our tea pack. Got that there, actually 2 of them, just like last month. We got 2, so I think that's probably standard. We get 2 tea packs every month so that you can enjoy one with someone else. You can have 2 by yourself, or you can share one with somebody else. Some of the other snacks here, like for these, we got 2 of those. Seems like a lot of times for the smaller stuff you usually get 2 of them, which is nice. These ones I know have different artwork on them, so I think I saw there's something like 12 or 14, something like that, different artwork of like famous sites here on these cakes, which is cool. Some like milk coated almonds, that'll be good. Some wafer crackers, so a lot of really great stuff in this. Let's go ahead and get to some questions and we'll start trying this stuff. All right, so I got everything here, and I think the first thing I want to do is get some tea brewing. So here's our tea for this month. This is the fragrant Hojicha. Now, I will admit, I'm not that big of a tea drinker, especially hot tea. I do like iced tea, usually just black, unsweet iced tea. Really, coffee is my main thing, and it's black, unsweet coffee is what I prefer. Usually just whatever's super bitter with some hot water in it. So I got my tea bag dropped in there. I'll leave that to the side for a minute while we try out a snack and get to the first question here for today, which is a really fitting one, actually. And this is from Trizface, who said, what sort of stuff do you do to keep your body from developing Gunpla building aches and pains? This is something that I feel like probably if you're on the younger side, you don't really worry about quite as much. But if you're a little bit older, like me, I'm 34 now, and probably even some of you may be watching or even older than that. Yeah, sitting down and like usually not moving all that much, usually moving your hands a lot, and the rest of your body is just kind of not moving at all. So the first thing is having a really comfortable chair. That's for me. I have neck pain issues, and if I'm not sleeping right, if I'm not sitting right, if I'm not sitting comfortably, and I try to control the slouching as much as possible, but when you're like building Gunpla kits or working on the computer all day long, it's really difficult to fight the slouching. But just trying to have good posture, and then especially just like having good cushioning, whether it be your chair or, like I said, your bed when I sleep. I just try to make sure that my neck isn't going out. But I want to go ahead and crack open one of these Yokohama chocolate crunchy snacks because I love chocolate, of course, who doesn't? But aside from that, I've never really suffered from like tendinitis. I think that's probably something that you could deal with if you're building a lot of model kits. Sometimes if I'm like really going hard and like building a lot for like a couple days, I'm just like nonstop just building kits. I do get like some soreness in like my forearms and stuff. Maybe I think it's probably just again from like how I'm holding them. So I'm like just holding my arms in this position for like a long period of time. Well, as expected. There's just chocolate and like puffs in there, and it's just really good. It's just a really good chocolate snack. One more thing to mention on this topic too, not necessarily like an ache and pain, but when you're painting, wear a respirator or wear some sort of mask when you're painting, just to make sure you're not breathing in a bunch of fumes. When I first started painting, I didn't, and I would notice after I'm doing like a bunch of painting, the next day I always have a sore throat, and that's because just the paint fumes are just terrible for you, especially if you're using lacquer paints. So protect yourself from that. The main thing is, guys, just pay attention to your body. If you're building a bunch of models and you start feeling some aches and pains in your neck, your back, your hands, whatever it is, try to take care of yourselves. I can say that. All right, let's try another one of these little guys. This is the Seagull almond. So we got 2 of these little packs of these almonds. Looks like 2 in a pack, so like 4 of them in total. Basically, it's an almond with a sweet milk coating on it. So I guess seagulls are a popular symbol of Yokohama's famous harbor, it says in the guidebook here. And I love almonds, and milk coating sounds pretty good, so. The milk coating is really soft, softer than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be sort of like a caramel, like a chocolate coating, where it's not quite that soft, but it's very light, soft coating on the almonds here. Definitely It's a small pack, like 2 of them in there, but I gotta imagine these aren't cheap. These are probably like 300-400 yen, 500 yen probably for just a couple of these. They seem very premium. I have to imagine these are probably really good omiyage if you're traveling like to Yokohama and then like you want to take some stuff back, souvenirs back for your friends or family or coworkers. These are probably really good for that. Alex asked, what kits come to mind when you think of the best MGs? When I think of the best MGs, I'm thinking of kind of what I know in the community are kind of regarded as some of the best MGs. It may not be like my personal opinion as which are like my favorite MGs, or which I would say, you know, objectively speaking, in my opinion, are the best MGs, but I know like the ones that people usually name would be like the Sasabi Verka, the new Verka, the Jesta is another one I know a lot of people consider as one of the best MGs. There's a lot of really great ones out there. Honestly, a lot of like the Seed MGs are really good. The Buster Gundam, the Ale Strike, just of course, any of those are really nice. But you have a lot of great ones to choose from. Matthew asked, favorite kits to build that were not Gunpla. So we had a similar question last time, but I would say it'd either be like the Mecha Musume kits, Frame Arms Girl, Megami Device, those type kits, or kind of in a very different realm, Machining Krieger kits are also ones that I really enjoy building. So it's a very different experience building those kits, but if we're talking not Gunpla, those would be some of my favorites. Any other name asked, how's the weather today? I wouldn't know. Unless it's raining, I can hear the rain, but there's no windows in this office, so I always think about like, I can never know what the weather's like outside, but I think it's sunny. It's usually sunny here in Florida, but if it's rainy, it'll be rainy for like an hour and then it'll stop. Let's try another one of these small ones here, just before we try one of the bigger breads. This one would be the Kamakura cream wafer. I love cream wafer type stuff. It says the city of Kamakura, just south of Yokohama, once served as Japan's capital. I did not know that. It's famous for its Buddhist temples lined with blooming hydrangea flowers in the summer. That sounds awesome. I better go and check that out. This is a sweet cream filled wafer from Kamakura. As you can see, just like a little stick wafer there. Really good. Some of these snacks, like when I eat it or when I bite into it, it's exactly what I'm expecting it to be, just like kind of normal snack. But sometimes I'm really surprised. Like with those almonds, I was surprised at how soft they were. With this, I'm actually surprised at how crunchy it is. The wafer is not like a really soft wafer like you might imagine. It's actually more like a waffle cone, like an ice cream waffle cone. You know, it's like a little bit thicker, a little bit crunchier. This one's not quite like as hard as that, but it's similar to that and a kind of a similar taste as well, like with cream. So it's sort of like eating like a waffle cone ice cream, because the cream is also vanilla flavored in the middle. That was really good. And there's 2, so I'm going to go ahead and eat the other one while I take a look at the next question here. Frankina asks, why does it taste like fireworks when I breathe in after chewing on a flavorless piece of minty 5 gum? No idea. I don't know what kind of gum that is. I couldn't really help you with that. But why does it taste like fireworks? I don't know. I guess that's the effect of the mint. Common Writer here has a couple of questions. Number 1, he asks, can you review LBX? I would love to review an LBX kit. So far, I've just not really come across an LBX kit that really looked that appealing to me. Most of them are not really to my taste, like just design-wise. That's why I've never reviewed any of them, but I feel like I probably should review one at some point. I just want to find one that I'm actually really into, and so far I'm just not really that into them. So if you have a good suggestion that you think might appeal to me, let me know in the comments and I'll check it out. The second question is, what's your favorite Gunpla? Really can't answer that. There's just way too many to choose from, but give me a good, nice, like preferably HGUC, but not necessarily an HGUC kit. I mean, like Universal Century would be preferable. It could be a different series, but like I like UC probably the most. So give me a good, like, nice new HGUC kit. I'll be happy. Third question is, do you think we'll get an MG Exia Gundam 2.0 kit? I think it's very possible. I don't think that we'll necessarily get one like now that the Virtue is out. They're gonna do a 2.0 Exia. I know that's something that, you know, a lot of people are hoping for, and it would kind of make sense. I don't think it's gonna actually happen, but it would be cool. I think it would be nice. I don't think it's really necessary, as the 1.0 Exia is not that bad. The foot is like a little bit weird, not a difficult thing to fix though, and honestly, it shouldn't be a deal breaker. If you like the Exia, I would say get the MG. It's not bad at all. And the fourth and final question in his comment here was, is it hard to paint SD kits? It's nice to have a question about SD kits because I just don't really get asked them that much. On the other hand, I don't really know that much about SD kits either because it's just not really my thing. But is it hard to paint 8 SD kits? I would say generally yes. It's harder to paint them than a lot of other kits, and the main reason would just be that they typically require a lot more masking just because of the fact that they're usually smaller, simpler kits. They have very few parts, so that means they have very little color separation, and a lot of times, especially if it's like one of the Sangokuden kits, they have a lot of really intricate designs and stuff on there, and they just require a ton of masking to actually get them painted in like a way if they're how they're supposed to look, or even if you want to paint custom colors, whatever you want to do with them. If you want to paint them up properly, they do definitely take a lot more masking work, and so I don't know if you consider that hard, but for me, I don't like masking, so that's hard for me. Alright, after all those snacks, I'm kind of thirsty, so it looks like our tea is looking pretty good. I'll go ahead and give this tea a try. It is definitely fragrant, I can smell it. I mean, it just smells like tea. And I'm no tea connoisseur, I should say. But it is good, I like it. Maybe it's just the fact that it goes really well with these snacks, which I would hope, the pairing of it would be good, but it seems like, it's a good fix. And it's a good match. I think it's time to try the orange cakey, because this is probably the one that, based on what I'd seen like before getting the box, I'd seen the preview of the box, and this is the one that I was most looking forward to trying. Zab says, I was planning to buy a Gunpla on my birthday, which I'm sure is probably already passed at this point, but he probably bought something already. I wonder what he bought. But he said, I was thinking if I should get the RG Wing Zero Custom or the RG Wing TV version, which is the better RG kit. I would say, objectively, they're probably the same as far as pros and cons of them, so I don't think I could tell you which one is better. Basically, it just comes down to which design you prefer. For me personally, I think I would go for the RG Wing Zero Custom, just because I kind of prefer that over the TV version of the Wing Gundam. Sorry, that package was more difficult to get off than I expected it would be. Here's our cake in this little plastic tray here, just to keep it protected from getting smashed, so that's nice. But yeah, I prefer the Wing Zero Custom, just design-wise, but I think either of those would be a really good RG kit. So if you see this video, let me know in the comments which one did you end up getting, or maybe both. Yep, as expected, it's very good. Very moist and light. I was expecting it to be a little bit heavier, but it's quite light and tastes amazing. Orange cake, yeah. Very good. Enzo asked, worth it, HG, and its price. So I'm guessing he wants to know like what's a good recommendation of an HG kit that's has a really good value for the price. And there's a lot of them. Really kind of, I mean, just, if you can get HG at or around like its list price, then it's probably going to be a good value for you. I'm just trying to think of like which kits have been reproduced lately, because I wouldn't want to recommend something that like hasn't been reprinted in a long time, and you're gonna have a hard time finding it. But I mean, if you want to get like the most playability out of a kit, one that has a lot of accessories is a good option, of course. So maybe like, honestly, the Shinanju is a really good one. The Shinanju is a really nice HG kit just because it's quite large. It's got great detail on it. It's got a good array of weapon options for it, and it's a pretty solid kit. The only downside is that for the sleeves markings, you have to use stickers or you have to paint them. So unlike the RG, the sleeve marking sections of it are not separate parts, so you have to paint them or use stickers or whatever. So, but that's just one that comes to mind. There's a lot of really great ones to choose from. Let's try this grape jelly afternoon snack time. It's not afternoon yet. It's almost. It's 11:30. But it comes in this packaging here like this. I've just taken out of the sleeve, and it's just kind of your typical jelly packet like that. And I don't know if you can see that, but there is actually 2 grapes inside of there. So it's grape jelly. And I'm going to use this. I probably should wash this first. Hopefully my wife doesn't see this. If my wife saw me eating from an unwashed new plate, she'd probably freak out, because I don't want to go back downstairs again and wash this and come back up. Look at that. Perfect fit in there. Looks very nice. And brought a spoon here. Sleipner asked, What do you think about COVID-19? I think it's terrible. I haven't got it. You know, knock on wood, my desk is like composite wood, close enough. Yeah, good. I know this kind of jelly, it's like, they call it jelly. I think it probably can be confusing for Americans because when we think of jelly, we think of like jam, like what you spread on toast. But like in Japan and I don't know, maybe in Europe as well, jelly is like this, which we would more think of like as jello, where it's like a gelatin molded kind of thing, not a spreading thing. You could probably spread this on some toast. I would think it might work, maybe. It's sort of one of those things that like the word and like the English version of the word maybe doesn't make sense sometimes to some Americans if you're not like aware of what it is. Yeah, of course, COVID-19, terrible. A lot of people have died throughout the world, not just here in America, all throughout the world. So yeah, I think it's bad. I wish it would go away, but at this point it doesn't seem like it's gonna go away. I think it's just something we're just gonna have to live with as a world. That was a nice break from the other like kind of dry snacks, I guess you would call it, to have some jelly. Very nice. Patrick asked, do you think Bandai will ever make a RG God Gundam? Very, very interesting question, considering that's exactly what we've got on the way. I wonder if Patrick had some inside information at the time, because I think this must have been, I mean, it was almost a year ago, so I can't remember when the God Gundam was announced, but he must have asked this question really just a couple of months before the God Gundam was first announced, so that was pretty good insight there by Patrick. Either that or yeah, he knows somebody at Bandai, or I don't know. But yes, I think we will get an RG God Gundam, and I think it will be coming out in the next few months. That would be my prediction. But I can't wait to get it. I think it looks awesome. I can't wait to build the RG God Gundam. Let's try out one of these little guys, the Olive Arare. We have two of these little packs here in the box. This combines Japanese rice with extra virgin olive oil and basil. So it's a east-west combination snack. Just you get one of these little puff balls here in the pack, and like I said, you got two packs in here. As just a single package thing, I feel like I would much prefer like a bag of them to have like more than just one. And that's probably the American in me. But as just a single snack, it is very good. Alright, James wants to know, will there be more tutorials / guides coming our way? Also, would moving back to America interrupt your schedule, daily work for a long period of time? Well, I think, as you guys have seen, it has interrupted my work for a long time, and I'm only just now kind of starting getting back to like kind of the normal routine of how you guys were used to how I was producing videos before. Still not on the level of like being able to paint and like do like custom work and things like that comfortably quite yet, but working on that. So yeah, you guys will definitely see more tutorials and guides and stuff like that. Just kind of work in progress stuff. You'll see more of that, of course. Just for the time being, I'm still kind of working on getting like a proper setup area and everything like all set up for that. But let's go ahead and get into this big boy chocolate pan. Chocolate pan. Chocolate bread, which is basically just like a big thing of bread here with the chocolate laced within it. And I love these. I mentioned in the last video we had the apple bread in the Tokyo Treat Summer Matsuri box. This is basically very similar to that, as this is the kind of thing you could very easily pick up at like any convenience store anytime throughout the day, but it makes it for a really good breakfast. It's basically just some very nice bread here with chocolate in it. So it's sweet, of course, just the bread is sweet, and plus it's got the chocolate in it, which is sweet, but it's not too sweet. It's not like, don't expect it to be like a chocolate filled eclair or something like that on that level. The chocolate in there is like, you can barely taste it. It's there, you can tell, but it's not super chocolatey by any means. This one also will probably go very well with this tea. And I'm just thinking like, probably not the most elegant looking tea glass or teacup to be drinking from, but you know, it's what I have at the moment, so. Khaled asked, what PG kits do you have? Please present the missing PG kits. That's what I want to talk about before I buy. Okay, number one, PG kits, I will just say, I don't really like PG kits that much. I mean, I enjoy them. They're great. I much prefer master grade or high grade, especially real grade too. But PG kits, yeah, they're fine. They're great. Which ones do I have? I have the Unicorn, the Banshee. I have a couple different versions of the Unicorn, the Phoenix, the Final Battle version, the Perfect Grade Unleashed RX-72 Gundam, the Perfect Grade Exia, and I think that's probably it at the moment. I don't have the RX-72, the Evangelion, the Zaku 2, the Zeta, the GPO1, all of the earlier PG kits I don't have, and I've never had any of those. The Mark II is the other one I'm forgetting, and I'm sure I'm probably forgetting something in there, but I think that's maybe it. Anyway, no, I don't have all the perfect grades by all means, and don't necessarily want them. Really, the only PG at this point in time that I kind of might want is the RX-72, the original RX-72 perfect grade. I might want to get one of those at some point because I think it's one that is definitely pretty old and dated, but it does still look pretty good in my opinion. I kind of would like to build one of those at some point. All right, next Scarlett asked a question here. Where do all the kits you review go back into their boxes? Question mark. And if so, where do you store them? So yeah, this is another question that I talked about in the last video. And yes, pretty much most of the kits that I review do end up going back in their boxes and then being stored either at my house, or I have some space here that I can keep some of that stuff. So yeah, they're just kind of stored wherever they'll fit, basically. All right, let's go ahead and try the peanut macarons here. I love peanut flavored stuff, peanut butter flavored stuff, and so I think these are going to be really nice. And basically like mini peanut cookies, very crunchy, but like little crunchy peanut cookies, very sweet, super good, just exactly my taste. Double Super Woodman said, enough of these soft questions. If all the Gundam YouTubers had a fight, who do you think would be the one left standing? I don't know. I'm not sure, and it depends on like how many, like who exactly you want to include. All the Gundam YouTubers, so like anybody on Gundam in the YouTube that makes Gundam related content. It's a lot of people, and I don't know them all, so I don't know, it's hard to say. It may not be the answer you're searching for, maybe not as spicy as an answer as you want, but I would say that I think probably we would all be left standing because we would just start talking about Gunpla and forget about the fight. Freda with another great question here. When are you starting the TR6 inlay resin kit? I was actually just thinking about that the other day because it's in my garage at home while I was moving some stuff around. And I saw it there, and I was thinking, I should build that dang kit. So, I don't know, maybe at some point later this year, like I said before, I don't have a airbrush set up yet, so I need to get that set up before I can do like any kind of painting, any resin kits and all that. And those peanut cookies are really, really good. But well, let's take the next question here. Mark asked, have you ever considered building any Star Wars kits? And if so, which ones? I actually have built a few Star Wars kits. Mostly the Mecha Collection, like this really small Star Wars kits, and I've actually painted a few of them back a few years back. I would like to build and or paint a couple more of the Star Wars kits. One of the ones that I'd be interested in getting is like the Star Destroyer kit that comes with like the LED set that goes in it, so it's like one of the larger Star Destroyer kits, not the perfect grade. Millennium Falcon, I think that would be really cool to build probably at some point. I just don't think that my skills for like painting a kit like that are good enough that I would really be able to do the kit much justice. So maybe at some point in the distant future, maybe, but I think like the Star Destroyer kit that comes with the LEDs I think would be a good one. The BB-8 is another, the half scale BB-8 was another big one that I built. So yeah, I've built a few Star Wars kits. That BB-8 kit is really awesome. Let's try out this big boy, the Bikuri Dorayaki. So we had a similar snack last month where it's basically like Japanese red bean paste, azuki, here amongst like two pancakes. It's like pancake with sweet red bean paste in the middle, and I love these, and they're very like heavy and filling. So, and this one's quite large, so eating a whole one of these will like fill me up for a meal. So this is another one that's really good for like breakfast or like a snack if you're on the go. It'll definitely fill you up. Yeah, always good. Maybe just because of the size of it, because it's so big, it feels a little bit more dry than other times, but I think it's just because it's so big, there's so much bread there, that's what's making it seem like more dry than other ones. Usually the smaller ones don't feel quite as dry, but it's less spread, so that makes sense. Donka asked, which P Bandai kit was one you wished that was a regular release? So, I mean, really any of them. I wish there was no such thing as P Bandai. I wish all kits were just available as regular releases to everyone. That'd be nice. But I think probably in recent years, the MG Gundam Mark V would be a great option, just because it was such an awesome kit, and it's a completely new kit, and so it really would have been awesome if that would have been a standard release kit, but it's unfortunate that it wasn't. I don't think it had anything to do with the licensing of Gundam Sentinel. I know that there is an issue with that, but I don't think that would have anything to do with the release of that as just a regular master grade kit. Not too long before that, we had the 1.5 master grade version of the XSS Gundam. So I think there's no reason that the Mark V couldn't have been a standard release. Saif asked, which do you prefer, the Penelope or the Kasi Gundam? Really good question, because I honestly don't really like either of them all that much. But if I had to choose, and it depends on which version. If you're talking about like, because there's different artists' versions of them, I would say probably the Katoki version of the Kasi Gundam would be my favorite amongst them. But I mean, yeah, it depends. But if I had to choose a favorite, I guess that would be the one. Andy had a pretty specific question here. He says he wants to buy an HG Kerberos Black. Where can I buy it? Please answer. I'm from Indonesia. Andy, I'm sorry to say I have no idea. I don't know what stores exist there in Indonesia in your area. Obviously, you could order from an international store like Mandarake, Ami, HLJ, anything that's like direct from Japan, basically. But I think for that kit, it's just a matter of if you can find it. I'm sure you could probably find one, but the fact that if it's difficult to find, it probably means that it hasn't been reprinted for a while, which probably means it's going to be a little bit more expensive. And then plus the shipping cost in Indonesia, I mean, I think it's probably going to be more expensive than it's really worth to you, unless you can find one there locally somewhere at a store. But I don't know, it sounds like, because you're asking this question, maybe you couldn't find one at your local stores. We got a couple things left here, and we got to try the Romansketchi biscuit. So this is the biscuit that has different artwork on it, and I believe that they're all different, Yokohama landmarks on here. And I'm not going to be able to tell you which landmarks they are, because I'm not familiar with Yokohama enough to know which landmarks. But like here, it looks like it's like a drink there on one side, and this one is clearly a baseball stadium on the other side, so that makes sense. So yeah, I think there is, how many? 19 different designs, it says here. So there's 19 different designs that you can get on these that are printed on them. The other one that I have, let's see, let me eat this one first. Sweet biscuit with some like sweet vanilla cream inside. Very nice. The other one has a ship on one side, and other side is also a ship, but like a nighttime kissing scene in front of a ship, very romantic. Fatty Wants a Cookie asked, when are you going to design and make your Zaku girl? Yes, I probably should point, make a custom Mecha Musume kit, like a kit bash of like a Gundam kit and a 30-Man Sisters kit like that, for example. I probably should do that at some point. That would make a lot of sense, and I probably will. I just haven't done it yet, but I assume that's probably something that I will do in the near future. I think it's just like much more often than not when I've seen people do kit bashes, like bashing a Mecha Musume kit with like a Gundam kit, it doesn't really look that good. I think it's a very difficult thing to push up. I think it's a very difficult look to pull off, and maybe that's why I have never tried it, just because I know how difficult it is to do. But I should attempt it at some point, yeah. Linark asked, do you still play bass? No, I don't, and I basically haven't since the band that I was in broke up. So some of you may know this, as I've told this story before, as I eat the other chocolate snack here because it was so good. In high school, I was in a metal band. I played bass guitar. Basically, it was a group of my friends, and one of their guitar players quit, and so their bass player went to play guitar, and then they needed a new bass player. And I was actually playing guitar. I was learning guitar at the time, and they needed a bass player. They said, hey, you want to come play bass for us? And I was like, all right, sure. So I messed around on the bass. I don't think that I was very good at it, but we had a lot of fun. Just basically jammed and moved around, but danced around a bunch. It was a ton of fun. We played a ton of shows. We played 2-3 shows a month, maybe sometimes like once a week for a while at some point, just like local shows with a bunch of different local bands, all like friends of ours and all that. It was a really good time when I was around 17 into 18, like that. Gerald asks, what's the best Mecha Girl kit? It's a very subjective question, but I would say probably one of the best ones definitely might be like the Shitara Kanashiya Megami Device kit. I think it's a really nice one. But there's a lot of great ones out there. If you wanted something that's a lot more mecha, the Frame Arms Girl Griffin is actually a really good one too, because that has if you're like just want a little bit of the Musume and a lot more of the mecha, but like still like a cool Musume character in there, like the girl, the female character, the Griffin I think is probably a really good option actually. NJ asks, what's the highest amount you've made from a single commission or sale of a custom kit? I actually don't remember offhand, but I think maybe somewhere around the realm of maybe like around $500, which is, I mean, it may seem like a lot, but I mean, commissions and like sales of custom work in our community is unfortunately not very good a lot of the times. Like, if you can find someone who's willing to pay like a really good fair price, then that's awesome. But most of the time, and understandably so, it's just you kind of have to undersell your work, just because it's just not a community where there's a lot of people that have a bunch of money that they're willing to spend to just buy a kit rather than just making something. Like, our community is based around the practice of making stuff yourself, so there's not a lot of people out there that are just interested in just buying other people's work, especially for large amounts of money. But fairly, as artists creating artwork, I think you should price your things, at a good rate. If you want to get like a decent amount of like pay per hour for like the work that you're doing on a kit, including just like the building of the kit, all the cleanup work that might be necessary, the painting, the masking, the detail work, any custom work you're going to do on it, scribing, weathering, anything like that. I mean, it's a ton of work that goes into kits sometimes. And I think if you're wanting to do commission work, if you're wanting to sell your work, you should charge a fair price for your time. Alright, so I'm trying the Yokohama Hamanishi pear jelly, which I was going to put in this bowl, but I feel like I don't want to try pouring it in because it's too much to fit into this bowl. And I don't want it to make a big mess. I'm going to try to just get a little bit of this into this bowl without making too much of a mess here. This one basically very similar to the grape jelly we tried before, but this one's obviously pear based and a different type of container. The type of container that you could just eat it right out of the container, honestly, but very nice. It doesn't have that strong of a pear taste really. So if you're the kind of person that like, you're not really into pear, I don't really know who wouldn't like the taste of pear, but if you are, I think you could eat this pretty comfortably and it doesn't really taste that much very strongly of pear. Rogue asked, would you be willing to build and review the Supernova Snow White Prelude? Not really, just because I'm just not interested in the kit personally. It's not like I don't want to build it because it's a bootleg, it's just the fact that I'm just not interested in it. That's really the only reason. There's so many things that I have here already to build that I have much more interest in building, that I wouldn't want to take time away from doing that to build something that I don't really care about. Alex asks, do you got some German relatives? Well, that's a good question. My father's side of the family comes from Germany, and my last name is very German. But I don't know if I have any relatives in Germany. Like if you go way, way back, I'm sure probably somewhere at some point. And I don't know which generation exactly offhand. I don't know which generation it was exactly that came from there. I would say maybe like my great-great-grandparents. Maybe at like the beginning of the 1900s, somewhere around there maybe. But that I know, definitely not. So I don't know. Alright, last thing we have here to try is the temari arare, which has a pretty interesting description, so I want to read this to you guys. It says, the temari are colorfully embroidered balls, usually made from kimono fabric, so not like these snacks, but like what you can see here on the artwork for the snack there, those balls there. And what started out as a toy is now a respected craft, and this Yokohama made salad flavor, arare, uses the resemblance for its packaging. So it's basically snacks in the shape of these decorative balls that are a traditional craft. Yeah. It's kind of like a salty snack. Taste-wise, I mean, nothing that interesting, that good. But I think like the background of the snack is kind of more interesting than the snack itself, really. So that's kind of interesting. Matt asked, will you hold a Zach Builders World Cup? It's like GBWC, except all contests, all must be entry grade RX-78-2s. That's an interesting one. I don't know why the RX-78-2's entry grade kit would be the theme of that, but I mean, so you're basically asking would I have a contest where all the entries have to be entry grade RX-78-2s? Having an entry grade only contest might be kind of fun. Maybe not limited to only the RX-78-2 Gundam, but maybe also, you know, including the new Gundam and the Strike as well, and whatever else maybe comes out in the future from the entry grade line. I think that would be a cool idea for a contest. So yeah, maybe. Probably not this year though, because I would want to maybe wait until maybe we get one more kit in the line so that there's at least 4 kits to choose from. So maybe next year that might be a good idea for a contest to have next year. One based around the entry grade line. I think it's a cool idea. Alright, very nice snacks. That wraps up all the snacks. I'll take a couple more questions here and then we'll wrap up the video for today. Devin asked, will you be attempting to paint the Marita Cruz figure soon? So I do have a Marita Cruz resin figure. I don't think I'll be painting it anytime soon because I'm still feeling very amateur when it comes to resin figure painting. Actually, I have a couple that are like half painted and not finished. I've actually never really finished like a full scale one other than just like a 120 scale figure. But like anything larger, like 1/8, 1/7, 1/6, kind of like typical size resin figure, I've not actually ever finished one, so I'm still very amateur in that field. I would love to get better at it, so I definitely need some more practice, and then once I'm a little bit better at it, I will definitely enjoy painting that Marita Cruz figure. But just because I love Marita Cruz so much as a character, I want to be able to do that one justice. Mindwipe asks, what's your favorite Neo Zeon mobile suit designs that are weird looking to most, but you like them anyway? Is the Rosenzulu a Neo Zeon design? It would be, technically, right? I guess. If that is, then I would say the Rosenzulu. And I don't know if it's one that looks weird to most. I don't know if that is the case. Do you think the Rosenzulu looks weird, people? It is a little bit weird, I guess. It has like the big weird shoulders and the claws and like the very long like knee spike fins and then like the high heels. So there's a lot of, I guess, weird aspects to it, sort of, but I love the design. Alright, here's a good one to end with. Version said, do you get most of your kits free working for USA Gundam Store? If not, what kind of budget do you set for yourself for the year to review and work on your projects? Curious how people set their budgets for this hobby. Great question. I should probably plan it better as far as like a budget goes. I don't have a budget. So as far as getting kits free working for USA Gundam Store, yes, the majority of the stuff that you guys see me review on my channel is stuff that I've gotten for free. It's not free because it's part of my job, so it's like a part of my pay, I guess, sort of, but it's free in a sense. But yeah, most of the stuff I do get as a part of just working here. But that said, I do buy a lot of stuff just for myself. And I wouldn't say a fair amount of stuff, and it's not really because I have a set budget for buying things for myself. It's more of just like when new stuff is coming out that I'm interested in. If it's not something that I can like use in a video to like promote my workplace, then it's just kind of, at that point, it's just kind of something for me that I just want personally, then that's the kind of thing that I would just buy with my own money. But if it's something that we're selling here at USA Gundam Store, that I'm basically using as promotion, then obviously then that's something that is a kind of work expense. So yeah, I kind of have like two separate budgets for that. Anyway, good question. Thank you for all your questions, guys. There's more. So If you guys want me to do a volume 3 that would not include any snacks, I can do that. But I thought doing these videos would be a great way to go through these snack boxes with you guys and answer some of the questions so that we could just kind of hang out and talk about some different things. And I can enjoy some of these snacks and tell you guys about some of the snacks available. If you guys are interested in checking out the Sakuraco or Tokyo Treat boxes, of course there'll be links down in the video description below. You can use the code ZAKU to save $5 off your first box. I highly recommend them. I love these, so this is the second month that I've got these 2 boxes, so I really like them both. If I had to choose between one or the other, it's really difficult. This month's Sakuraco box, I liked basically everything in there a lot. I will say though, the tea is really nice if you like tea. I'm not that into tea, so that's kind of making me think that I kind of maybe prefer the Tokyo Treat box just because the drink in there is good. It's just kind of like a soda basically. This month is the lemonade soda, but then the month before that was the caramel butter popcorn soda, which was interesting but not that good. So I don't know, it's a toss-up between the 2 boxes. I think they're both really nice. This one is so nice just because it's just so elegant and very premium feeling, definitely. So I really feel like you're really getting your money's worth. I mean, with either of them. The Tokyo Treat box is huge. It's like physically larger than this one. But this one also it's still got some jelly in it. Well, the little ceramic dish in here, I mean, I know it's just a small thing, but that's really cool as well. So anyway guys, check it out if you're interested. Thank you for hanging out. If you would like to see a volume 3 where I'm just answering a bunch more of the questions, because there's still so many of them, then let me know down in the comment section below. But of course, thank you guys for hanging out today. If you would like to check out the link to USA Gundam Store, the link will be down below. You can check out all the different kits and paints and tools and supplies and everything else, figures that we got here at USA Gundam Store for you guys. So thank you so much for the support. Thank you to the teams that put together the Tokyo Treat and Sakuraco boxes because they're so fantastic, and the booklet with all the information and background stuff is amazing as well, so I really enjoy these. Until next time guys, have a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye bye.